If you know me personally, then you know that I love a good rave. And in 2024, there were a lot of shows that I went to. Some of my, I'd say, all-time favorite shows. So I want to talk about them because they meant a lot to me, and there are some like pretty fun moments. Just some fun little stories that I'd like to share. I'm still kind of like a new raver, like new to the scene. I've been doing this for the past 2 years. I mean, I've been listening to the music for a really long time, and I'm finally able to see everyone perform. I saw the Glitch Mob. That's something I want to start off with because it's a dream come true. I've been listening to them for years. Their style, their genre, their music, the soul that they put into their music. They first of all played all of their bangers. They played all of their bangers. They played all their best tracks, all the good songs off their new album. I love that album. I think it's called Control Alt Delete or Control Alt. And that one's a beautiful album. Like, all their music is amazing. And seeing Edit and Ua together, like doing their thing, it was good. I don't even know what genre to classify them as. Like, they're their own thing. Like, just weird digital beep boop shit. Like, that's their thing. Like, they just do their own thing. It's the Glitch Mob. And I saw them, which was so cool. But I guess we can just start off with that, because that was one of my all-time favorite artists. I saw Svdden Death for the first time. That was amazing. It was a really good show, and there was this one moment where he played Counting Worms by Knocked Loose. And I lost my shit because metal at the rave. Oh my god. Of course, Svdden Death he's a G for that. It's just a really good and iconic Knocked Loose song, so I was just like, surely there are other metalheads in the crowd who know the song. And there's this one girl who popped up and she like looks at me. We start like screaming the words to each other. And then there's that one part where he goes like, arr, arr. And yeah, we just did that, like while screaming at each other. I wrote a song! She grabs me and she's like, thank you so much for doing that. Like, I love you. And I was like, I love you too. And then she just jumps away. And bless her soul, I hope she's doing okay. I was glad that somebody else knew that song, and then I had that moment with somebody else who recognized that song. It's just wholesome. That was my most memorable moment from that show because Knocked Loose, hell yeah, Svdden Death. Hell yeah. I also went to my first Excision, the Nexus tour that he went on. That was a really good show too, and I saw a lot of really good artists on that lineup. An artist that I've been dying to see, Sicaria, and I was not expecting her to come to Toronto, but she did, and it was amazing. Her set was beautiful. I'm a huge fan of Sicaria. Like, she's the coolest girl at dubstep. She's just good at what she does. Sicaria, she just knows what's up. She knows what's up. She knows her dubstep. She knows her music. And I feel her love and her passion through her mixing. I talked to her after the show too. I approached her for a second and I had to let her know that she was the queen of dubstep. Like, I had to let her know. That leads me to another amazing event that I went to, which was Conducta back-to-back Swisha. The vibes were just immaculate, and the music was amazing. Like, their selections are really, really good. Well, first of all, Conducta and Swisha on their own, they're just really amazing artists, really amazing, innovative, kind of just really cool artists. And then putting both of them together, I don't know what got them to come together in Toronto. I'm so grateful that they did, because that was one of the best sets that I've seen all year. Definitely in my top 3 of the year. Like, if I had to rank them, Conducta and Swisha, jungle night. Like, just good jungle in UKG. They had like those like happy little upbeat UKG moments, but they also had some grimy jungle, some like good old school jungle. There aren't too many jungle and UKG events where I live, so being in an environment where everyone's just kind of like really vibing to that music and really feeling that music was really great. There are moments where like jungle drops would go off and everyone's just like, you know, shuffling or like dancing and like doing little steps and just skanking out. out to the beats. And I love seeing that. I love feeling that, like being in an environment where everyone's just so loving and appreciative towards the art, towards the sound, towards the jungle. I love Conducta's UKG. And it was a good mix, a really good mix. There was one moment, oh my god, where they were playing the archives. There was this one guy who approached me and we started like singing the lyrics to each other. Like we look at each other and we're like, yeah. And we start like singing the lyrics to each other. And as soon as that segment was over, like her vocals stopped, he like grabs my shoulder and he's like, I love you. And then he just like hops away. When you're at the rave and then like somebody approaches you shuffling, they're just like, you, let's go. It's purely bonding over the music. And in my 20 years of living on this planet, I have not experienced that, or very rarely experienced like connection through music like that. It's literally a dream come true, a childhood dream come true. Growing up, I literally thought that people don't like music like this. And now I'm like, there's a whole community of people who like music like this. And I was too young to go to raves, first of all, so I couldn't really join the community. Speaking of jungle beats, Ternion Sound came to play a show in my area, and they played a lot of jungle. It was just one member, it was just Jack, but he played a lot of jungle, a lot of drum and bass. It was actually a really interesting collection of genres. I'd say he really did a little bit of everything. That was a tour showcasing, like, their newest remix album for Digital Artifice, which, first of all, Digital Artifice is an amazing album. When that album came out, like I was losing my mind. Listen to this. It's so good. I feel it in my soul. Like, this is so pretty. I just saw Ternion Sound last night for the first time. Dude, the bass was so loud and like the set was just really well done. The progression was nice and they played so many different genres. Dude, there was like a nice classic jungle moment, a really sick drum and bass moment, but then like when you were standing outside the building, you can literally feel the subs shaking the walls and all the equipment, like pff, it was vibrating, which is crazy. Very, very loud. But honestly, I don't think it's as loud as Mala. I feel like Mala was louder. He played some UKG, some like nice little bouncy beats, switching it back to the dubstep and then going into jungle. He played 4 a.m. crew. Honestly, yeah, like I rate this one the second favorite of the year. It was just an amazing show overall. Like not only was Ternion Sound playing, but Truth was on beforehand. So Truth opened up with a really sick, like just classic dubstep sound. Like he played a lot of bangers. He started off really slow and like grimy 140 stuff. And then like near the end it got all wonky and bassy and loud, and it was a good start. It was a good intro into the Ternion Sound. Then Ternion Sound went on. He popped off. My key moment from the set is he played 4 a.m. crew. Piano's Raining Down by 4 a.m. crew. It's a good drop. It's a really good drop, and it was amazing. I remember there was this moment I was listening to that song and I was like, I can die happy once I hear this song dropped live. And I heard it drop live and I literally was like mind-boggling. That was shocking to me. I was not expecting that drop. That drop just hits your soul. It's beautiful. But yeah, he played like maybe a solid like 30-40 minutes of jungle drum and bass. A lot of jungle, but there's also like a lot of neuro kind of drum and bass, like a lot of the really cool breakbeaty stuff. He was getting really experimental with it, and I like it. I love that. Of course, their like classic iconic like dubstep sound is amazing, and I love that just as much. It was nice to hear like this more like breakbeaty kind of side to them, which I wasn't expecting. It was a really pleasant surprise, but I would love to see like all of them play together sometime, because that's Ternion Sound. Like I have to see Ternion Sound in its entirety, especially because they're disbanding. They're done. They're done in 2025, like, or 2025. That's the last year. I really hope I can see them play together before they disband for good, because Ternion Sound is a really good project. I was not expecting it to end, but happy that we got some really good releases out of that. And Digital Artifice was a beautiful album. But then Raz went back to back with Substance for the closing. They went hard with like the big dubstep. I don't know how else to describe it other than just like, you know, when you're closing, you kind of gotta like give a little kick to the crowd, and they definitely succeeded in giving that kick. Oh my god, I ran into Raz before he was playing, and I approached him and I was like, I like your music. And then I ran. He was like, thank you. And I just dipped. And I ran into Distinct Motive too, who was there. He was just chilling by the speakers. And I was like, oh my god, you're Distinct Motive. He's like, yup. And I'm like, You're cool. You're cool. He's like, thank you. But I met both of them. I always see Distinct Motive around, but I never approached him to say hi because I'm so embarrassed to approach people. But I guess this year we broke through our fear. And I've approached quite a few people apparently. Oh my god, Distinct Motive and Raz, they recently made a song like together. Or I think around shortly after the time when this show happened, they released a song together, which is really cool because both of them have like this really distinguishable bass sound. Like they have their own unique bass, which you can kind of hear in their music. Like when I hear a Distinct Motive track, like I know that's Distinct Motive. Like that's his kind of like deep, kind of grungy, rusty bass. Where Raz kind of has a similar style, but like his is also really recognizable. So like hearing them collaborate and like merging those sounds together is really cool. So I'm glad that they did that. And it was an honor to meet them. Also for this event, they said that they like turned the speakers on like the loudest they could without like damaging your ears or whatever. And it was really loud, but like it was not as loud as Mala. Like I'm gonna be forever comparing every experience that I have to Mala because that night was crazy. I've never experienced anything like that with anything before, let alone a speaker. I made love to that speaker that night. Like me and that speaker, we had our moment. And I don't think anything's gonna ever top that. Like that was pretty loud. It was like a soul bonding experience. Me and that 40 hertz speaker, like it was definitely still loud at Ternion Sound, but like I'd still be able to hear people talking on the inside. For Mala, when his sub would go off, like that's the only thing you could hear. Like there's nothing else in the room other than the sound of that bass. That's the kind of experience that I had at Mala. But no, I don't think anyone can top him. I think Mala is just Mala. He's the king of dubstep. Like I was just there and all I could experience is the sub, like that bass. I'll never be able to forget it. Like that bone shaking feeling, that silence in the room, like when you can just hear that sexy dark bass, man. Like, oh my god. Number one on the list, I'd say then is Sammy Virji, because that set was beyond amazing.
Brilliant,
like
incredible, amazing,
like that set in particular, his set, he played a 2-hour set at a warehouse. His crowd was just insane. Everybody in the crowd was having like such a good time. Like everyone was so beyond hyped up. Every single time he'd play like any of his tracks or any UKG banger, like everyone there knew it. Any of his songs would play and everyone there was just singing the lyrics like full-heartedly. There was this one moment that I had with one person in the crowd who approached me during like If You Need It, and we started like singing the lyrics to each other, you know, just like we had like this cute little moment to the music. But it wasn't just us having that moment, it was everyone there too. Everyone there was singing their heart out. Everyone there was just having a good time. And the music was really good. Like his selection was amazing. Like he played, of course, his most popular tracks, but he also started getting really experimental with it too. He played like maybe a solid 40 minutes to an hour's worth of dubstep, and like good dubstep. He played Joker, which I was just amazed by, because like, damn, you know your shit, okay. He played like that kind of dubstep, like grimy dubstep, and it was like a solid amount of dubstep. Like I said, like 40 minutes to an hour's worth of dubstep. Everyone there was just dancing along with it. They were just there, face and everything, like vibing along to the music. At some point in the crowd where I realized that he was just continuing to play dubstep, and I was like, this is fucking dubstep. And someone looks at me like, yeah. The mixing, I was a huge fan of it, and like the dubstep was a really pleasant surprise. That was the first time I heard that Joker song play live, so I was really happy to hear it. Oh my god, I was not expecting that from Sammy Virji, and the way he was mixing, the way he was switching in between genres was beautiful, because he was like playing his energetic stuff, mixing it with the grungy dubstep, and it was going together effortlessly. During that set, there was this one guy in the crowd who just kept, "It's Virji, isn't it? Is that Virji?" The entire 2 hours that we were there. Like when you're at a rave, you can really tell the difference between crowds. Like there are times where you can tell that the crowd is just there for the music. Like you can tell that love exists. Like I don't know, I just felt a lot of love at this event. But yeah, I'd say those are like my top 3, but that's like, I saw a lot of really good artists for the first time, not even just those. I saw Rusko for the first time, who went on tour with Hybrid Minds, and it was a really good event, but Rusko played some dubstep in that one too, so I was like, like, he played some of his like classic dubstep songs. This was right before he started playing shows with Caspa again, so I was really excited to hear that live. And somebody after that show, like, I heard them sitting outside the venue, and they're like, I'm a little bit upset that he played more of his dubstep. Like, I'm here for his drum and bass. And I was like, are you kidding? His drum and bass is amazing, but like his dubstep's so good. Like, I love that he played that. And he was like, oh. I was thinking the opposite. I also saw Sara Landry for the first time, and she was incredible for 2 hours, just nonstop hits. Her crowd work, like the way that she's able to maintain energy in her techno. Wait, I just remembered this one moment though where she played a techno remix of Man's Not Hot. And I was there at the rave just like hearing 2 + 2 is 4 minus 1. She dead ass played that, and she's so funny for that. At that moment too, there was also someone in the crowd there who started like singing the lyrics along with me. He was like, I can't believe you know this song. 999, or like 999, that techno artist. The vibes at this show were also just immaculate. They played a really good classy acid techno set. Oh my god, that's my first ever festival, Escapade, and that was a terrible experience, but because they canceled the 3rd day, it's not even funny. Like, they had Night Punk back-to-back in Manu on the 3rd day, which was the only reason why I went to this festival. It was the only thing that I was looking forward to. Well, that's not fair. They're all really good artists on there. Like, they were supposed to play on the 3rd day, but it got fully canceled. And like, I don't know, the way they handled that situation, like the way they handled that, it's a lot. I'm just not even gonna. I saw a lot of artists at Escapade. A lot of really good ones, like Tape B, Ganja White Night. I saw Ganja White Night for the first time. It was my first... Sorry. It was my first Ganja White Night show, and it was beautiful. It was a sunset set. It was on the 2nd day of the festival. The sun was setting. I was there in the middle of the stadium. I was just directly in the center of like the sound system. So I was like really happy about that. I saw Chase and Status though at Escapade. That was an amazing set. That's kind of it, yeah. I really hope to go to some other festivals next year, because Escapade was not it for me. You can disagree with me, you can have your own opinion. Other people could forgive them. I don't know. I personally can't. Can't tease me with the modern Night Punk like that and then not follow through, bro. But yeah, that's basically all my most memorable rave experiences from the year, or from 2024. I was not able to see Nia Archives. I really, really want to see her. That's one of my favorite artists that I really wanted to go see, but I wasn't able to. Nia Archives though, without a doubt, my favorite album release of the year. Her Silence is Loud album. Never have I cried so much while listening to an album, and every single time I revisit this album, I just cry. Like, Nia Archives, Whoever Hurt You, I have personal beef with him too. It's a really emotionally charged album, and I can feel her pain. I can feel her suffering. All the drums in that album are beautiful, but the composition of her tracks is just so melodic. And the way she storytells through her music too, like through the instrumental, through those drums, is beautiful. 11 out of 10, and I really hope I can see her soon because I missed her. Aside from her, there was so much good music that was released this year, like a lot of really cool new albums. 2 other album releases that were really notable for me is Lindsey Stirling, because Lindsey Stirling hasn't released a new album in a little while, and this one, Duality, I'm a huge fan of because I love the whole duality concept. But also she's just an icon. She's amazing, and I was like, Lindsey Stirling has genuinely been one of my all-time favorite artists growing up. But then Infant Annihilator made a comeback. I'm a huge Infant Annihilator fan. Like, that's a really cool metal project, and they haven't released anything new in a while too, so they did. I'm speechless. The last breakdown in this last song, I literally fucking shit myself. I can't believe Infant Annihilator comeback. That was a good comeback EP. I've always been a big fan, and I will keep being a big fan. This was great. And I can't wait to see what 2025 has in store, because I can sense like the innovation. I can feel something cooking. Something's cooking, and I don't know what it is, but I'm excited to see what it is. There's definitely going to be a new wave of electronic artists popping up right now, and I can't wait to see what direction we're headed, because last year was really experimental. Everyone was doing like cross-genre things. Everyone was, going out of their comfort zone. So what's going to happen in 2025? I don't know, but we'll see. So that's that. Thank you for tuning into this little rant That's it. Peace.
That's our situation right now. We got chicken tenders.
These chicken tenders fuck.